Brandis Strautman with Costa Mesa Brief, and we are here tonight at the Liberty Lounge in Costa Mesa, California, at a debate viewing party hosted by Congressman Dana Rohrabacher. Tonight we will be asking people the important questions. Who is best to reunite the Republican Party? Who will make the best commander-in-chief? And who will take Iowa? So who are you supporting in the debates tonight?
Ted Cruz all the way.
How do you feel he is doing so far in the debates?
He's doing very well. He could be a little more aggressive towards Rubio and Trump, given what's been transpiring the last week. But overall, I think he's doing as well as he could,
And how do you feel on his stance on foreign policy so far?
Well, he's been very clear and resolute throughout, and he's been articulating the principles that most conservatives want to hear, which is defeat the enemy, period. Not contain them, not, do Obama's foreign policy, which is more like Rubio's foreign policy, which is, prolonging these battles, but just go after the enemy, go after ISIS, defeat them. I think he said recently, blowing them up to oblivion or something to that effect. So this is the kind of foreign policy that most conservatives want to hear, is going after the enemy and being resolute and determined and just defeating them, period.
Okay, so who are you both supporting tonight?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
And how did you feel about his foreign policy stance so far?
I think he's right on. I like the strength.
I think he's right on too. And I like the fact that he just comes out and says what he means. And then if there's any argument, he clarifies what it is that he means. And I appreciate it.
How do you feel about his statements in the news recently about going in and killing the women and children of ISIS members?
I think that's a very unfair question. You should never pose it that way. I think what he's really saying is that these people, especially the wives and the mothers, they know what's going on. And we need to be tough with them, and we need to be vigilant.
I concur with what he said. I don't think he really meant precisely that, but we carpet bomb. What are we going to say? We don't select people. We never really have selected, people out. I don't think that's. I think it's wrong to target him like that in that way.
So who are you supporting tonight?
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. And do you feel that Trump is a threat to Cruz's campaign?
No, I don't. I think that Trump has done our country a huge favor. I like that he has opened up all sorts of topics that were not talked about before for whatever reasons. But I don't think that, I think that Cruz's ability of showing his intelligence, his constitutional knowledge, and just the fact that he stays calm under pressure will override in the end. Trump has done a great service, but I don't think he's going to win.
Do you feel that Trump is stealing Tea Party votes from Cruz?
Yes, I do, but I don't think in the end he will be the candidate, so it won't matter. And I think whoever is supporting Trump will go to Cruz.
How do you feel the Tea Party is doing so far?
They're almost invisible. I'm very disappointed in the Tea Party. I believe that they did not put enough pressure on the elected officials that went to Congress to do what they said they were going to do, and they flat out got rolled by Obama and the Democrats. Very disappointing. The great ticket, if we can get it, would be Trump and Cruz. I think that they can be a great 1-2 team. Trump comes in from a little higher level. I think he can get along with the world leaders, and he's got much more experience. I think Ted's got a great ground game and really knows what's going on in the country. And after 8 years, hopefully Ted will be in good position to take over at that point. But I think it would be a great team, two strong men, conservative, that I think could clean up the major problems we have.
Do you feel that Trump can reunite the Republican Party?
Well, I think they're going to have to. They're, 60-70% of the people are against them. So when you look at Trump, Cruz, Ben Carson, these are all outsiders. They got 60-70% of the people. So the Republican Party either has to change or they're irrelevant.
Who do you feel is winning tonight's debate so far?
Donald Trump, yeah, for sure. Very strong.
Who are you supporting tonight?
I'm supporting Senator Ted Cruz.
And how do you feel he's doing in the debate so far?
I think he always answers the questions very powerful. He's very accurate. He's brilliant. He's not petty at all. He just goes in and just like a leader should. You go in, you weed out the power struggles. You don't play games. He's a very serious candidate, and we need someone like him to be doing it. And I personally admire him. I love his skills. I love his humor too. He's funny, but he's true. He's honest. He has a very transparent about him. He could just go, this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to do. And he has a lot of integrity, and I love that. I feel safe with him. I really do.
Thank you. And do you feel that Trump is stealing away Tea Party votes?
To a certain extent, I mean, he's an entertainer, and he's just tapping into the anger of what America feels right now. We are very pissed off at Obama. I mean, going way back in 2008. He's tapping into that emotion, and it's true. Some people are. I'm angry, but I'm controlled and self-disciplined about it because I want our leadership. I want the United States to be wonderful, and I believe that it can be, and which is why I stay on the conservative Republican side. I'm not for all government taking control of anything. So that being said, he's an entertainer. He's nice. He's funny, but honestly, I have to go with who's going to keep me safe and who can I trust. The Reagan attitude, that boldness, and the family. He's for family and everything like that. So.
Now, Hillary Clinton's campaign has recently attacked him on his stance of birth control for women. Do you feel that he would have women's best interest in their health care?
I think that he would let the states decide. I mean, when it comes to Hillary, come on, there's nothing I can say nice about her. She wants to control. She's weak in a lot of areas, and she certainly doesn't stand up for women. She doesn't speak for me at all, at all. I think a woman, we all can just handle our own stuff. I don't need government to tell me what I can and cannot do, and certainly not her, not at all.
Do you feel that Hillary is going to win the Democratic primaries?
No, I do not. I never really pictured her being it. I mean, as long as the media creates it and says it, I think it'll probably be whoever else I don't pay attention to them, but she seems to think she is. Maybe they do, but either way, we're not gonna have a Democrat in the office at all. No, we're done with that.
Who are you supporting tonight?
Well, I support all of them, I would say, but I'm undecided as far as for the primary process.
So at this point in the debates, who do you feel is winning?
I feel there's a few strong candidates. I would say Chris Christie, surprisingly, I believe, is having a good night based on kind of what he's talked about. I would say the loser of it all is kind of the CNN questions and not be able to get to most of it all. But I think Marco has gotten contested for the first time in the debates that I've seen strongly by several sides. I hadn't seen Rand Paul come at him like that before. I'd seen a few exchanges, but I would say so. He's having an off night. I think he's performing well, but the fact that he's being attacked as much as he is, I think, is a shock for him as well. And surprisingly, I think Donald Trump is doing what he always does, but I think surprisingly Jeb Bush is coming out a little aggressive as well. So, really good night for our party, I think. It's a little different aspect of it because the focus is so much on our security and keeping us safe, but it's a good night overall, I believe.
And how do you feel about all the tension in the Middle East right now and the war in Syria?
Well, unfortunately, I just think it's a 2015 version of all the prolonged problems that have existed there for decades and generations. I just think the fact that with Syria and Russia getting involved, so it's so complex. And unfortunately, there isn't a straight-up answer. And so I think we need a leader that gets in there, that has the leadership experience, that can work many different aspects of dealing with ISIS, dealing with the different Middle Eastern leaders, the dictators that have been brought up, and also with Russia as well. So I think that we need a leader in there that has much different than your more straight down the road politician. So it's complicated, unfortunately, but I think it can be solved.
Do you still have family in the Middle East?
I do, yes.
Do you worry about your family's safety there?
Actually, I don't, because I'm actually from Iran, and right now Iran is kind of in the safe haven. In the debate, it was brought up that Iran is kind of winning everywhere. So, and most of the terrorist attacks are not actually happening in Iran. Yes, there's terrorism, yes, there's crazy people, but my family is actually in the one area that has been kind of been fortified, if you will, because no one really wants to mess with Iran right now with all the different areas. And that's the one area that's safe from ISIS internally, and that's one area where they actually are thriving on all aspects. So I'm not, but everywhere else, yes, I'm sure I have distant families all throughout, and I would be certainly.
Do you support America taking in Syrian refugees?
Yes, I do. I think it has. There's more to it than a straightforward answer, because you have to obviously analyze what all you're doing. But I would say yes, initially, to taking in some of the refugees. Yes.
Have you been racially profiled in America?
I mean, the answer to that, of course, is yes. When you throughout life, when you meet thousands of people, I would say I have been. A lot of it is very insecure profiling, so I don't really pay attention to it. But I would say with a person that perhaps has the look of a Middle Eastern person and with a name, I have been. I live my life where I don't let it affect me. I let my actions be the point of judgment towards me.
Totally a Ted Cruz fan.
And do you feel that Trump is a threat to Cruz's campaign?
Not at all. I think Trump's done a good job of bringing things to the forefront that wouldn't have been brought forth otherwise. He's done a really good job of showing the Republicans that they don't have to sit there and kowtow to the media. You can actually play the media.
And do you feel that Cruz will be able to reunite the Republican Party?
Absolutely. Every single one of these guys up there on the stage tonight would be a better president than Hillary Clinton. And so I have no problem unifying unifying behind whoever ends up being the nominee.
Do you feel that Hillary Clinton is a threat to Cruz in the campaign in the end?
No, I think she's ammunition for his campaign because she is being indicted, being investigated, and it would be a very bad precedent.
And who are you here to support tonight?
Pardon me?
Who are you here to support tonight?
Oh, I'm rather firmly behind Mr. Trump.
And how do you feel how do you feel his stand is on foreign policy?
Well, basically, I feel Mr. Trump is the sort of individual who has done a lot. And he's a man who knows how to assemble groups of people to get the job done. And if we begin to look at the way he's handled overseas operations, it would take somebody who knows what he's doing in order to get there and out again without being thrown in jail. So basically, I suspect Mr. Trump could get the job done. He's got the money to avoid special interests. He has got the background to know how to get a project completed. He has failed and knows what failure's like and probably wishes not to do so in the future.
If Trump makes it to the Oval Office, do you think he will reunite the Republican Party or create further discord?
I'm not so sure the Republican Party is worthy of reunition. What they've done so far is to be very, very selfish and greedy and self-serving, as a matter of fact. And so I think, if anything, Mr. Trump will bring the country together, which I suspect is a far nobler thing and something of greater importance than simply the salvation of a political party.
What do you got?
Who are you here to support tonight?
I'm here to look around. I don't support anybody. I think Donald Trump has done a great job of making the whole political campaign more palatable to the American public. And in other words, it's not embarrassing to be politically correct anymore. So I think he's done a great job.
Who would make the best commander-in-chief?
Yikes. That's a good one, too. Probably Cruz. I think he's more thoughtful. I think he is better with strategy than all the other candidates, and he's committed to protecting the United States of America. He has outwardly said that he wants to rebuild the armed forces rather than say, I love the armed forces. He said, I'm committed to rebuild.
Do you think rebuilding the armed forces would cause more of a deficit to our country?
A necessary deficit. Necessary deficit. I think money has been spent in the wrong place.
Would you support a raise in taxes to rebuild our military?
I don't think it's necessary to raise our taxes. Nobody likes to pay taxes, but I don't think it's necessary to raise our taxes. I think it's necessary to reallocate the funds. We're wasting a tremendous amount of money.
And who are you here to support tonight?
I like Ted Cruz. I like Donald Trump too, because they're like fighters. You know, they want to protect the country.
Do you feel that either of them would be able to reunite the Republican Party?
Yeah, I think those are the main ones that would do that. Yes.
Which one do you think would make a better commander-in-chief?
I don't know. I think Donald Trump, he seems like a real good fighter. I'd probably go for him as being, more of a fighter. But I think Ted Cruz, all in all, he's the best one to pick because he's a Christian too, and his ways are really good. And they do need to get rid of the illegals out of here, out of the United States, obviously.
So do you support an immigration reform or just deportation?
Well, the people that are here that are already American citizens should stay. And the first thing they should do is block the borders so nobody else could come in illegally to the United States. And then work on getting the ones that are already in the United States, taking advantage of the Americans and, down here.
Would you support a raise in taxes in order to be able to have the funds to deport all of the illegals already in the country?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, because I don't pay taxes, by the way.
And who are you here to support tonight?
Ted Cruz, most definitely.
And do you feel he would make a good commander-in-chief?
I think he'd make a great commander-in-chief. In fact, probably the best one out of everyone on stage right now.
And so do you feel confident in his foreign policy?
Incredibly. I think he's got some of the best ideas out there. I mean, he's stated very explicit details on what he wants to do. So right now, he's front runner right there.
Do you feel that Trump is a threat to his campaign?
I think any kind of front-running Republican is a threat to his campaign because it splits voters. So the sooner that Cruz gets ahead of Trump, the more he will be in the spotlight, the more people will look into him, the more people will realize he is the best candidate, and more people will tend to vote for him instead of Trump.
Who do you think is going to take Iowa?
Right now, I'm hoping Cruz, but it's pretty close. I think Trump still has the lead, but Cruz is catching up real quick.
Do you think Cruz, as president, would be able to reunite the Republican Party?
Definitely, without a question.
So who are you here to support tonight?
I think I would vote for Cruz if the election was today after listening to all the candidates.
Do you feel that Cruz won the debate tonight?
He's had a lot of good one-liners, but there's a lot of substance behind his humor.
Do you feel that Trump is a threat to Cruz's campaign?
No, I think that if you look at the polls in Iowa, that Cruz is surging and is now in first place by 10 points, according to one poll. But as Cruz said, any of the people on the stage tonight would be infinitely better than Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama as president.
Do you feel that Cruz would make a good commander-in-chief?
Excellent, probably the best since Reagan.
I think what we need in this country is transparency. And I think that's what every candidate is all about in this debate. I think they're true believers. I think they want to protect the Constitution and the next generations that are coming up. And through transparency, through government accountability, I think that's really the key moving forward. I think the people deserve to know the truth.
Who do you think out of the presidential candidates would be the best to reunite the Republican Party?
I really think it's up to the voters to decide. I'm currently, I haven't endorsed the candidate personally. I think there's still a few debates left that we need to see. But I want to give every candidate a chance to really flesh out what they want to do.
How do you feel the candidates did tonight?
I think they were all fabulous, some better than others perhaps, but any candidate on the stage this evening would be a whole lot better than Barack Obama is doing right now, or Hillary Clinton as our next president. So our Republican candidates are all fabulous. I prefer perhaps Ted Cruz. I think that we need somebody with a little law and constitutional background, and Ted Cruz is extremely articulate. So I thought it was a great night, and it was fabulous, everybody being together and listening.
I thought the debate was very energized and exciting. I especially liked Ted Cruz's performance and how he followed through this campaign promise of reigniting his base. He certainly got me even more enthusiastic. The key points that he spoke about were the protecting of the homeland. I think he is the best candidate to do that. He's got the clearest vision, clearest plan for leadership with sound judgment.
Well, I think that Cruz did the best. Likewise, I feel everybody did well, but I think Ted Cruz did the best.
I like Ted Cruz. I thought that I wish they would have given Carly some more questions.
How do you feel Ted Cruz did in the debates tonight?
I think he did fabulous. Every debate he does a great job. He's very knowledgeable in every area, foreign policy, domestic policy. He's a man who stands up for his principles, and that's one reason why I support him. He's very much what he says is what you get, basically.
Do you feel that Trump is stealing votes from Ted Cruz?
Possibly, but once Trump, basically Ted Cruz is if they're not supporting him, if they're not his number one guy, then he's their second or third, basically. And for the ones who have the number one guy would be Trump and Ben Carson. So 97% of folks really support Ted Cruz in terms of the first, second, or third choice in this presidential nominee.
Do you feel that Ted Cruz will be able to reunite the Republican Party?
I believe so. He has a very good heart. He loves America, and I think that will show up once he becomes the nominee.
Well, I support the GOP. I support the Republicans. To me, the conservative side of our country is so important. I think it's getting lost in transition over the years, and our family escaped from a communistic country when I was a kid, and it really changed my life around, and joined the Marine Corps to defend this country, and I feel like a lot of that is getting lost. I think a lot of kids these days aren't realizing how much freedom means to them, and I think a lot of kids take it for granted these days. So,
as someone that has served in our military, who do you feel out of the candidates tonight would make the best commander-in-chief?
I believe that a good CEO of any company is somebody that can get the best people around them. Between Ted Cruz and Trump, I think those are the two great candidates that we have. Both of them know how to get good people around them, I believe. Both of them have strong viewpoints, and both of them have good success.
Do you feel Trump or Cruz would be able to reunite the Republican Party?
It's a tough question. I don't know how to answer that.
Okay. And how do you feel everyone did in the debates tonight?
I think the debates change from each session that they come across, and I think that every candidate did extremely well, but some definitely had their highlights of the day, and I think that'll be pretty much talked about tomorrow on the news.
Thank you.
On Fox. Fox!
1, 2, 3.